This plant is Loropetalum chinenesis Razzleberri, and there's many different hybrids of Loropetalum chinenesis rubrum, and kind of the common quality with those is their pink flower, as you see here, along with some of the burgundy colored foliage. What's distinctive about razzleberry is the new foliage. As you see in this photo, you see how on the younger tips the foliage has the plum coloration, whereas the older foliage has a nice deeper green. And that combined with the intense pink flower is what's distinctive about razzleberry. I like the two-tone nature of how this appears. Here's another plant where it's a bit lower, and that's when you see this variety, that's what's typical about it. Now this planting that we're going to focus on is an older planting. This is in late winter, and this is what I'd call chlorotic. It really needs some nitrogen. This is a nitrogen deficient situation, but I did want you to see a group planting of it and how that can appear. The maintenance person has removed the lower foliage off of these plants to raise them, and the height of the plant is probably around 5 feet high. I think they're planted about 4 feet on center, and they've filled in horizontally. Here's a nice deep pink flower, but see how yellow the foliage is? That's really just a stress, in my opinion, of needing nitrogen and maybe some iron, but predominantly nitrogen. It's nitrogen deficient at the end of winter. So why I like this plant in design is it has this softer natural texture that you see in the larger grouping, and it has a horizontal layered feel to it. As you can see here, all the branches are fairly horizontal, and then they droop to the side when they're allowed to. Some of the foliage will be perky and upright, as you see there, but as it matures it will lay over. So in design you can use it in groupings like you see here. I saw this used by the hundreds in group plantings in China, and the Plum Delight variety, which has the plummier foliage. But whether it's used as a singular plant, and I would allow this to be about 8 to 10 feet high if I were using a singular plant, although it's easily kept at 3.5 to 5 feet is fairly typical, by about 4 to 6 feet wide. And it can be used in deer areas some of the time. I've had kind of mixed luck with that. This is not a drought tolerant plant. It really likes some regular moisture to do its best. And as I noted on the Plum Delight video, I have had terrible luck establishing this plant around existing trees. If you grow it from a youngster with a young tree, I haven't had any problems, but I've had a very hard time establishing any of the loropetalums around existing trees. I'm not saying that would be true for all cases, but it would be my last choice if I were going to try it that way. And in terms of companion plants, it's great with rhododendrons, azaleas, camellias, hostas. It likes semi-acid soil ideally, although it doesn't demand that, and it can also take full sun. I find the coloration in the foliage is best if you do give it some full sun, although it certainly handles part shade as well just fine. And that's what I can tell you about Loropetalum chinenesis Razzleberri. It's a very interesting plant. Here's a great look at it here, and how I think it's best used more in 1 to 3 plant groupings, so that you can really take note of it and appreciate its nice coloration along with its layered foliage. I think that's its real strong point and unique aspect of it as a plant. In terms of temperature range, this handles our cold temperatures. It's rated to be okay down to about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have very hot temperatures during the summer with low humidity in the teens. Temperatures as high as 100 plus, and it handles that just fine even in full sun. So it's very flexible in terms of its temperature range.